What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rest Hold Podcast. This is episode 13.
Lucky number 13.
1-3.
Here we are.
Right in the spooky season. Getting into the heart of it. This is brought to you, as always, by your boys, Tanner Fred, and me, Zach Foreman. Tanner, say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? Nice little draft. Gonna start things off a little bit differently this week. Normally I do this at the end of the episode, but gonna do it at the beginning. First off, last week we had our most viewed episode.
Our best episode.
Currently at 136 views. Thank you guys so much for everyone that tuned in. Even if you just tuned in for a couple minutes just to see what this is about.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Giving us a shot.
Also, if you like, subscribe down below.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, quick, press of a button. Doesn't send you notifications or anything if you don't want them. Comment, let us know your thoughts about stuff we talk about.
And mash that like button.
Like button, another big one.
Yeah.
Socials will be down below as well, but Instagram and Twitter at Rest Hold Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you're trying to look, we're probably there.
Yeah, definitely, man. We really appreciate it. We started strong. Our first episode had, I think, 100 and some change views. Mm-hmm. Then we kind of hit a lull. It's hard. It's a grind. We're doing it. We're trying to bring you guys some entertainment. So if you like it, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, share it wherever it is, and interact with us a little bit.
Yeah.
We're live on socials, like Tanner was saying.
Especially during episodes.
Yeah,
so
we're pretty much live
Raw,
tweeting
SmackDown,
everything.
NXT. We might be like a couple minutes behind
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes it's just our schedules line up where we'll record the beginning and then catch up about 20, 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're pretty much on top of it. So if you want to interact with us,
Yeah, let us know, man. We really do appreciate it, though.
Yeah,
136, it's big for us. Doesn't sound like much, maybe some other channels, but 136, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, while you guys are here,
Yeah, back to the content.
wrestling. And the draft is done.
Yeah, the draft was interesting. I feel underwhelmed.
Yeah, let's get our initial thoughts out on the table.
I thought Raw did a fantastic job overall.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown definitely got a little weaker, in my opinion.
Okay.
I was expecting a lot more from NXT.
Agreed.
We only got 4 or 5 people, I think.
Right. I think it's a small amount and
Very small pool. And I think,
some unexpected ones at that.
I think definitely only one I really was like, okay, this is the one I expect.
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory was one I was like, all right, he's going to be a main roster guy, whether it's right now with the Rumble.
Absolutely.
That was kind of destined to happen pretty soon.
I think the biggest shock was Gia Lee.
Yeah, that one was really out of nowhere for me.
Especially because she was full-blown in a story, and then
She got hurt, and then it was just off TV.
Yeah.
Now she's on
the
Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
Hit Row was another one to SmackDown. I noticed a lot of them went to SmackDown.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the 4th one being Ridge Holland,
Mm-hmm.
also a SmackDown superstar, starting October 22nd.
Ridge Holland screams main roster build.
Yeah, he does.
He is a Vince guy through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Big, thick, dense.
Yeah, just strong as hell.
Yep.
Got the look.
Yep. Absolutely.
I like his character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll do some cool stuff if they let him go,
Yeah. I guess for my initial thoughts on the draft, I was very excited going into it. I guess just as a fan of WWE, we kind of do it to ourselves, get ourselves so worked up, so overhyped for things that never seem to live up to the expectations.
I feel like our mock draft didn't help with that.
No, our mock draft was fun. Our most viewed video.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
It was fun, but it definitely didn't help with our expectations.
And then it just kind of underdelivered. And for me, I'm only saying this because some of the changes that occurred while Drew McIntyre needed this change, there weren't any real big names going brand to brand. Okay, so we lose Seth Rollins.
The only
not
massive,
even lose, you just move.
The only big one I felt was wow was the Charlotte Becky swap.
Yeah, but and you say that, but it's and I guess I don't know what I expect necessarily because you're not really changing star power. You know what I mean? When you swap them, it's just change of location because they both bring the same thing to the table. So I don't know what I expected necessarily. Obviously, you're not going to make one show every superstar. I think I would like to see Bobby Lashley go to SmackDown.
That's where I feel like SmackDown really did lose out. So I feel like everyone of Roman's past feuds is now on Raw.
Right.
And
so
then
they lost Finn.
They lost Finn. They lost Seth. They lost.
Well, they didn't get.
They lost Edge.
Yeah.
They lost Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And then SmackDown got the only main event guys that really came to mind right away for me that weren't there already was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like it was pretty consistent.
Yeah, I have the list up. The WWE official Instagram posted the draft results. And Raw, I'll just read it off really quick. We have AJ Styles, Tozawa, Alexa Bliss, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Austin Theory, Becky Lynch, Bianca, Big E, Bobby Lashley, Carmella, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Commander Aziz, Damian Priest, Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler, Dominic Mysterio, Doudrop, Drake Maverick, Edge, Finn Balor, Gable Steveson, Jackson Riker, John Morrison, Karrion Kross. Then we got Bearcat Lee, Kevin Owens, Liv Morgan, Mia Yim, Montez Ford, MVP, Nia Jax, Nikki Ash, Omos, Otis, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Reggie, Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, Riddle, Robert Roode, Seth Rollins, Shelton Benjamin, T-Bar, Tamina, Tegan Nox, The Miz, Veer, and Zelina Vega.
That's a strong roster.
It's a very strong roster. And you want to know what's bad about it? You're going to skip Raw 9 times out of 10.
I hope not. I really hope not, because they have a lot of talent and they have a lot of cool matchups that I want to see as well. I think Seth and Bobby would be really, really fun.
You have at least a year worth of feuds here.
Oh, absolutely.
At least.
Especially for the main title picture.
Yeah, strong feuds.
The only disservice this draft did for me is that we'll never get Drip God versus Tribal Chief.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a massive miss for WWE.
It's a huge miss. It's possibly the biggest miss in recent memory, because you have Roman Reigns doing the best work of his career, Seth Rollins.
Top 3 of his career.
Yeah, great work.
The only other 2 that I think might be better would be Authority Seth and then Beast Slayer Seth. Or Kingslayer Seth.
And it's a miss.
It's a miss. It's just a miss.
A big miss.
It's something they missed on.
Especially because when you look at SmackDown, which I have the list up, WWE official Instagram, there's not a lot of guys here for Roman. Let me just read this off and tell me who you think the next guy is for Roman. So we have...
Well, the next guy is Drew.
Well, yeah, I think that's obvious. That's going to be, 100%.
Because it's going to be Brock, Big E. Then, yeah.
Okay, so Drew. I think that's a given, but then let's hear it, right? Aaliyah, Angel Garza, Ashanti the Adonis, B-Fab, Cesaro, Charlotte Flair, Drew Gulak, Drew McIntyre, Eric, Happy Corbin, Humberto Ivar, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders.
Okay. I was like, who's Eric?
Happy Corbin, Humberto Carrillo, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ivar, the other Viking Raider.
Got it.
Jeff Hardy, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jinder Mahal, Shinsuke, Kofi Kingston, Mace, Madcap Moss. Notice it's Madcap. It's not Mad Cat.
I thought it was Cat when they said it on TV. Until I saw it in writing, I thought it was Mad Cat.
Yeah, I thought it was Mad Cat as well.
I think it's like the Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
There you go, WWE. Mansoor, Mustafa Ali, Naomi, Natalia, Rick Boogs, Ricochet, Ridge Holland, maybe...
That'd be a fun one.
Hat in the ring there. Roman, obviously, himself. Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Shanky, who I just now realized is separated from Veer.
Where's Jinder?
Jinder's on SmackDown.
Veer's not...
Veer's on Raw.
Oh, wow.
Why? Well, he's the guy with the most talent.
Yeah,
of the group.
100%.
So maybe they see
I guess
that.
Okay.
Shayna Baszler, Sheamus, Shotzi, Tony Storm, Top Dollar, Xavier Woods.
Nada.
Xia Li. So I'm looking at this SmackDown roster, and it went from being
very strong,
the strongest.
Cesaro's on Raw, right?
Cesaro is here on SmackDown.
Oh, okay. Well, they're not going back.
They're not going to go there again.
But the ones that stood out to me, Drew, obviously.
Yep.
Sheamus would be another one.
Yep.
Ridge would be a curveball one, and then a follow-up curveball. And I hope this isn't the reason they're here. Is Hit Row. Because let me just in my head, this is a Hit Row Legato parallel where we just bring Naomi into the bloodline.
Let me tell you, if they do that,
here's the thing: I honestly don't have too much of an issue with it, except for Roman obviously dominates him. If that happens, whatever. But
no,
that's it.
You don't understand how bad they will look.
Who?
The entire Hit Row. They
Yeah,
will
that is
look
true.
so bad. Because Legato is small. Like, they're physically
They're tiny.
small.
Yeah, they're
like,
small. Yeah.
And they are much better than Hit Row. The Usos and Roman are not small.
And are much
better. So you're not going to get away with a size advantage, except maybe Top Dollar's a little bit bigger. But you're not getting that size advantage that you can kind of like just muscle people around and
the
toss
issue
them
is you
around.
no longer sell me the size advantage when Roman beats Brock.
Exactly.
Now that's out the window.
Yeah. And Top Dollar's not the guy who's going to get the belt anyway.
No, of course not. It would be Swerve. I mean, let's make this clear.
It's not
when we say get the belt, he's not winning.
Yes,
he'd be the title guy.
This is the full hypothetical too.
Yeah.
But and again, I hate to do, to rag on one person and isolate them, but B-Fab has no business sniffing
anywhere
the main
in the
roster.
Not even that.
In a title picture.
Not even that.
In the ring with Naomi.
That was where I was going.
Yeah.
She has no business being in the ring with Naomi.
And if Naomi, and like...
Again, this is a big hypothetical.
It's a huge
It's a lot of stuff that we're kind of adding in.
This is just like talking about, because I said, who's next for Roman? And this is one of the potential faction feuds that they can go with. And boy, would it be a mistake.
Yes.
A huge, huge mistake.
Massive mistake.
And what does WWE do often?
Make mistakes. Makes lots of them.
Make huge mistakes.
Yes.
Like, let's just jump to it real quick. Like we said on our last episode, we need an explanation.
Did not get
Finn.
one.
And what do? Draft them to Raw. That's our explanation.
They're not going to touch on it.
They're never going to mention it again. Never. We're never going to hear about why the ring collapsed or how any of that happened. That's it.
Yeah.
Did you see the video that came out?
No, it happened.
Some fan was filming at the time. Finn was up there and caught the WWE maintenance guy cut the rope.
Really?
Yeah, on camera. Not good. Bad look for the company.
Really bad look. That's terrible.
I've only seen the video once, so I don't know if maybe they got to take it down. But
yeah.
Bad look for the company.
Yeah, that's not good. Like, you can have him lose and be strong in other ways.
Yep.
Like, there's plenty of other ways to do it.
Simply losing to Roman is not a bad loss when Roman is doing this.
Yes and no.
Like, I know the Demon undefeated on the main roster, but it's really...
I know we talk about this a lot, and we have,
I know, you're a loser. But now you're a worse loser.
100%. I think that's the issue. There are levels to losing.
Yeah.
He never had to lose clean or any sort of...
You had it written in. It's an Extreme Rules match, and he has a whole family out there.
Yeah, literally, that's it.
Like...
We even had the one where Brock comes out.
Yeah.
That's another option, where Brock's like, I don't want the belt off
the Demon, yeah. I want it off
weirdo.
Roman.
I want it off Roman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention Brock, the
free agent,
the hottest free agent on the market.
I just think that's because he's going to fight Bobby soon.
Yeah, so after he loses to Roman
I think he's going to fight Bob
Crown
at
Jewel.
something.
Well, Bob has his own fight at Crown Jewel.
He does, with Oldberg. It's funny, because, I don't think I could care less about Crown Jewel, really. Especially with this draft scenario.
Knowing that the draft doesn't go into effect until the day after Crown Jewel, it's like, well, I know they're not going to just take the belt off Roman now.
And here's I think the bigger problem. One, Becky's retaining. 100%. Because I think we're getting a unification match at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
That seems to be the direction they're pushing.
Yeah.
So, that's decided. And if it's not decided, Charlotte doesn't have a match.
Right.
So, no matter what, either you have the wrong belt on either brand, or you have two belts on one of the brands.
Right. So
no matter what happens.
If Bianca or Becky wins, the belts are on the wrong show because they're still calling it the SmackDown Women's title match. And if Sasha wins, you have Charlotte and Sasha on the same show.
On the same show.
And they can't do that. That's terrible for the women's division.
Yeah.
Just like having Big E and Roman both on SmackDown was bad, which is why they drafted Big E to Raw.
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
So the women's division is in a bit of a mess right now.
It is in a downward spiral.
Not only is this an issue,
yeah.
something that we found out through my
As of the
Instagram
draft.
Explore page.
As of the draft.
As of the draft, with Tegan Knox being moved to Raw and Shotzi Blackheart staying on SmackDown, and Natalya and Tamina being broken up, split, Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH are the single women's tag team in the WWE main roster.
The only
There's
women's
one.
tag.
And
you
it's
have
just
champions, and that's it.
There's no division. It's just the champions. And that is a massive, massive problem.
So this is when it gets back to what we kind of spoke about a few episodes ago. Ruby Riott was not a big loss. No. Like, I don't think she's a big signing. She's not a mega draw.
Has she been, like, on TV since?
I know she wrestled Britt Baker, but, like, it's like she's not the mega draw. She wasn't, like, in the caliber of losing Adam Cole or Daniel Bryan.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, none of that. But when you look back and you're like, who are people we should have kept around to, beef up the roster a little bit?
That's one of them.
It actually seems like she's the person you're missing the most.
Yes.
Because you had Liv and you had her, who had great in-ring chemistry. They were good performers. I never thought, again, I'm not going to walk back what I said. I never thought they were must-see TV. Sometimes, like I said, they weren't the worst match on the card.
Yeah.
But when you look at the roster, and now you don't have a single different women's tag team.
That's what's so interesting about a lot of these releases and the signings and everything. It's WWE will always have their stars. That will never, ever be a problem for them. They will always have their guys that put fans in the seats.
Yep.
Their mid-card is the problem now.
Yep.
And a lot of these mid-card guys are the guys they're going to be missing.
Yep.
Like, I feel like another one, and it's kind of, he's like that bridge between the mid-card and the main card, is Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Because, why he might not be the best wrestler in the world, might not be the best on mic, might not be the best character, he is that bridge. He's like that upper mid-card a lot of the times.
Yeah, no, you're entirely right. Braun Strowman was the guy that can go from a feud with Sheamus for the U.S. title to a feud with Roman for the WWE Championship, and it was believable every time.
Yeah.
Because he's so big, he's so massive, like, so strong. And now, who do you have like that?
You have
Seth?
A couple of people.
Seth, maybe?
Seth.
But Seth doesn't even, like, dabble in the mid-card anymore.
Nah, he's a little past that.
Seth is just...
at least this character
Seth
right now.
You know what Seth is like? He's at this phase where, like, kind of rare Randy Orton was in his career, where it's I'm always in the main event picture, or I'm just doing my own feud to get right back into the main event picture. And that's kind of what Seth is doing. Drew is doing that too. Drew is now in that phase. He's not touching a mid-card belt. And maybe that's at the fault of the company. Like, maybe WWE hasn't put enough prestige on these other belts.
Oh,
like
no, that is what it is.
Yeah, like
that is the problem. Because look back,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, let's go like 15 years. Even a little more, maybe.
Look
at your Intercontinental.
Yeah,
like Shawn Michaels,
Jericho,
Benoit, like people like that. Like, Jericho.
Top guys.
Like, those matches were the best on the card.
They would steal the show. They were more important. Yeah, and now it's not that.
And I think that kind of goes to just how... And it's funny to say this. I'm going to say how deep the rosters were then.
Yes.
But it's a very deep roster now as well. We showed that. And I think them holding so many people in NXT is part of the problem. Yes. Because Vince has this idea, and maybe it's not Vince, maybe it's a little bit more people backstage, that when somebody gets brought up, they have to get hot-shotted.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine to bring up, like, I know somebody commented this on one of our videos the other day, like, what would Adam Cole do in the main roster? He's not going to beat Roman, he's not going to beat Bobby at the time. There's nothing wrong with Adam Cole coming up and winning the IC belt, holding it for a couple months.
Guess what? He could have beat Shinsuke. He could beat Apollo.
100%. Like, the IC belt traditionally has been like the working champion. It's the guy that goes out every single night, defends the belt every single pay-per-view, that kind of thing.
Yep.
The U.S. title is a little bit different, but things like that.
And you know what's the worst about that is, like, Cena made the U.S. title again. Like, Cena really brought prestige to the United States Championship. And then you know who else did that? Bob.
Yeah.
They had it on Bob, and it was a believable, dominating champion. And then they took Bob, who was so good and so hot at this point in his career, and you know what they did? Put him in the main event picture. Yeah. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He absolutely did. But that's how you made Bobby Lashley a star. Like, everyone knew Bobby Lashley. Everyone believed in Bobby Lashley. But Bobby Lashley got himself over by having that exposure as United States champion, constantly being on TV, constantly working. I mean, he's definitely doing the best in-ring work of his career. It's just, they don't care enough about the mid-card. And you could tell, and not that I'm trying to, throw shade on this character, because I think Boogs is awesome. But you can tell where they view these championships now when you look at the kind of gimmicks associated with it.
100%.
So Shinsuke's out here with Rick Boogs, and sure, Boogs is over. Pat McAfee is getting them over, which aren't they on Raw now? So that's going to be...
They are on Raw.
Wait.
Yes. No, they stayed. They stayed.
Yeah, they
those
stayed.
belts didn't swap.
Yeah. Okay. But still, that's like an interesting like thought experiment. Is like how they have fallen, like how the value of these mid-card titles have fallen so much. You can even say the same thing about the tag titles.
Absolutely. And to actually talk about that, unless I know I used a really far example of the IC belt, but let's not even go that far back. Let's go back 3 years, right before AEW was really kind of started. Do you remember who the US champ was?
Is that
right before maybe a year
that
before?
The list?
It was the list of Jericho.
Owens? Yeah.
One of the best gimmicks in the history of WWE.
Yeah.
Was centered around your United States title.
Yeah.
And then it was Kevin Owens. And let's not even go that much further back.
Yeah.
Who was champ after Bob? And is now in not the main event, but Riddle. So another guy. Now he's working with Randy and AJ.
And I mean, not that Damian Priest is not working. He's working. He's having good matches and everything.
It felt like they just gave it to him.
Yes, that's what the problem is. They just took it off Sheamus. And maybe their plan is because they knew maybe we're not giving him enough credit for long-term stuff. Like Sheamus is going to SmackDown. Sheamus will be up for Roman. Like maybe that's where they're going. And Sheamus is another guy who deserves to be, in a title picture.
Yeah.
He made the U.S. title relevant. He was a fighting champion. He brought some credibility to it. But it's the fact that these matches just get thrown together. Nobody's like, I want the United States Championship. It's like, oh, and here's a U.S. title match.
And I think the real detriment of this is because of the lack of number one contenders matches. I know they had these new contenders matches where you had to beat the champion, which is really stupid. But number one contender matches served a lot of really good purposes. Because not only was it hey, this guy has now earned a shot at a belt, but now it's two guys that you can start to build. Because even if you lose a number one contenders match, you're now the third best guy in the mid card.
Yeah, and
that's a good place to be.
And kind of what I was saying, it adds value to the title. People want the title. We're actually fighting each other for a chance to get this title.
Exactly.
It just... You need to make the belts matter. Otherwise, you're just filling a card.
Yeah, and you know what? What's really funny about that is that's where my head went to when we started to talk about these number one contender matches and the third best guy in the mid card. I think that's the real problem, is that WWE doesn't really book stories anymore. They book to the pay-per-view.
Yes, 100%.
It's totally fine to book a story that doesn't have to end at a pay-per-view.
No, every story is a 4 to 8 week story. And then if you get something good like Seth and Edge, you'll get 12 to 16 weeks out of it.
But you could have perfect example, and it will be on a pay-per-view eventually. Ali and Mansoor against Garza and Humberto. That's a story that you could have... I mean, they're on different brands and everything now. Actually, they are both on SmackDown, so they can continue if they want. But let's just say Raw for the purpose of this. That's a story you could have ran on Raw for 5 to 6 weeks and then just ended. It didn't have to be this final pay-per-view match. And I think the example that I thought of was Booker T with the best out of 7. That wasn't a pay-per-view feud. That was just something that was running. That was a really good segment on your show that you were running week to week. And then it ended on a weekly television show.
Yeah. And since Raw has been booking against Monday Night Football, it's definitely been better. They've definitely been doing things like this to add a little, relevance or actual, feuds, whatever you want to call it. But I just don't trust it for the long term because the last year, even with COVID, and I mean, I guess I should say despite COVID, they put on shows, but they didn't tell stories. You know what COVID was? It was the Drew McIntyre showcase, and he did a damn good job.
Yeah,
he did a damn good job. But that whole feud was, McIntyre Orton, and okay, but it was always to the next pay-per-view, always to the next pay-per-view. Kind of what I was saying, where you have Seth and Edge, your feud is 4 weeks long. Get to the pay-per-view. Oh, they tore the house down. Well, of course they tore the house down. They're two of your best guys. So let's run it back.
And they're basically been planning a match for a month.
Yeah, so let's run it back.
Yeah, at the next pay-per-view.
And they do it again. Another 4 weeks to the pay-per-view. And another 4 weeks to the pay-per-view. And now here we are where I'm shocked they didn't announce it yet, but I'm sure it'll be Saudi finale.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there you go. Another 4 weeks to the pay-per-view. Like, they don't tell, like Tanner said, they're not telling stories. They're booking to fill a pay-per-view card. Yeah. And, sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they do. Other times I
feel like the only stories they've been booking right now has been Roman.
Roman, yeah. Roman is the exception to the rule because Roman has been killing this character for so long. And, like, maybe the return of Brock Lesnar was kind of like a monkey wrench. Maybe they didn't necessarily see it coming.
But I feel like they're running a good story with this, too.
That's what I'm about to say. And it's working. Like, even that's working. So I don't know. This is not to say the shows have been bad. Because the shows have been good.
The shows have been better. This Monday was rough. This Monday wasn't very good.
Can we talk about, I know not every minute of the show is for you, old man.
Yeah.
But come on. Shayna Baszler and Doudrop.
I don't even think the problem is with the feud. Like, have your feud. That's fine. I'm all for mid-card women's feuds.
Right.
Because it gives us a chance to have someone then be a contender for a belt.
And you need that.
With that, great. One, kind of out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, you need to make Shayna, if you're going to draft her and push her, you need to make her believable again. So having her dominate people, okay. But
here's the issue.
Yeah.
I think you could have done this last week in a different fashion. I think last week you should have had her beat up Dana Brooke and, like, get through it. Like, actually break her arm, whatever.
Break her arm, yeah.
This week, I think it should have been Eva Marie. And I think Doudrop should have saved her.
And, like, been, like, a full face. Like, look, even after you were an ass
and
to me,
I'm not, like, obviously, like, I don't like you, I'm not, like, with you, but I don't want you to shatter your arm kind of thing. Like, you did help me get into the, like, you don't even have to run, like, a full story like that.
Just I can see that.
Just, like, a quick glance. And then at least it's like, okay, there's a logic.
Right. And the thing is, while it didn't make much sense why Doudrop all of a sudden is a face, like, protecting the locker room, can we talk about just 1 second?
That one punch?
If you're going to jump somebody from behind...
Jump somebody.
You're not just punching them on the spine one time and then moving on.
That was so bizarre to me.
It's just not happening. Yeah. Shayna Baszler took a step away from Doudrop, let Doudrop protect Dana Brooke, then punched her one time on the spine and just kept walking up the ramp. Was it a mistake? Were they like, what are you doing? Get away from her? Like, I don't get it.
It was very bizarre, to say the least.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing on that one.
And it goes to the thing is where if you're going to build, and we kind of said it with Becky, like, if you're going to build a heel, build a freaking heel.
Yeah.
If you're going to attack somebody from behind, attack somebody from behind.
And I know we keep going back to him, but he's just so good right now, is Roman.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what happened with Roman when the Mysterios crossed him? He didn't punch him. He threw Dominic 8 feet over the ropes.
He came out in a match that the Usos were going to win anyway and still beat up the Mysterios.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a heel does. I'm going into business for myself.
Yeah.
I don't like what you did to me. I'm going to make you know how much I disliked it.
Yep.
Shayna Baszler, on the other hand, I'm going to slap you on the back and walk up the hill. Don't come back here again. Don't you do it.
It was so weird.
Or else.
I don't know.
Else.
That's the thing. And I don't know whose fault that is.
I don't know, but if you're going to be a heel.
Be the heel.
Be a heel.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to be, the nuclear heel. Not everybody needs to be a killer. But that's what they're making Shayna Baszler.
Oh, they're making Shayna Baszler to be the Karrion Kross of like it was in NXT.
So if you're going to do that,
do
it.
Yeah.
Go all in. Mm-hmm. I don't care that Doudrop came out to save Dana Brooke. If the plan was to jump her from behind, she should have suffered just as much. And then guess what? I care more about your face-off next week.
Yeah.
I actually don't care at all about your face-off next week now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you slapped her once on the back and then did nothing.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be invested in that kind of storytelling? No, tell me. Am I supposed to care?
I don't know how you can be.
Care about that storytelling?
I don't know how you can be.
Because it's not storytelling.
I guess like the only thought I have is like it's like the feel good. She's like to the kids like she's the hero. She's protecting them. But like, and I get it, and I understand the point that she made that not everything's for a certain demographic.
Right.
But guess what? I'm still watching the show.
Right. And I'm not telling you not to do what you did. I'm telling you to do what you did right.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's not that we're telling, like, hey, I don't want you on the screen or you shouldn't have come out for Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
It's just there needs to be a logic to the actions that are done, not just things happen.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that's, like, a rude or outrageous thing to say.
No, because the thing is, people are so sensitive. And this is not just directed at any one person, but if you critique somebody, it's like, well, why don't you freaking do it?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you freaking do it? Or it's not for you. It's for somebody else. You don't have to like everything. Okay, I'm your audience. I am your audience.
Yeah.
And guess what? If I'm turning it off when you come on TV because you're not doing a good job, you're not going to be on TV much longer.
Yeah.
They see those rating influxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guess who's going to take the brunt of that? You. Not me. They're going to listen to me.
Yeah.
So
I'm the one buying that $25 T-shirt on BOGO.
When you're not moving merch and people are turning off their TVs, that's your problem.
Yeah.
So when people are just and this goes to everybody, like if a critique is out there, like I know it sucks to hear what you're doing isn't good, and just like tweak it a little bit because.
And I think in the context we're providing as well, we're not saying, "Oh, this is crap. Get rid of it."
No, because it's not crap.
It's not crap. There's something there, and again, this isn't going to be like the feud of the year. Like no one's saying that, but like the way it's done is very important because you know what? It's probably not for someone like me and you.
No, it's not.
It's probably for like that 14, 15, 13, whatever year old girl kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But not only am I watching, but people roughly around our age watching with their kids.
Or their dads.
Or their parents.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, that's a very... the dad's like, hold on, Chargers? Let me check the score real quick while this is on. That's exactly what's probably happening in a lot of households.
Oh, and Monday Night Football? Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, playoff baseball? Boom.
Exactly.
Oh, hockey? Boom.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what you have to book against. So when you're coming out there, and it's fine. Like, we were just saying you need to have these mid-card feuds. And they're building Shayna, and you have Doudrop, who's a new solo women's superstar, like just now breaching into, whatever she's doing, on her own. No more Eva Marie. Just do it right.
That's
like,
all. I think
if you're gonna beat up Doudrop, beat her up. Or if Doudrop's gonna come out and beat you up, beat her up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not saying I'm getting in fights every day.
No.
But if I'm going into something and I'm getting in a fight, I'm not gonna slap you on the back
and wait to see what you do. I'm gonna beat you. Like,
that's it. And like, you look at anyone else backstage, like doing things, like they're doing their backstage segments, they're beating people up in the locker room. I mean, you even look at NXT, and not to say even look at NXT, because NXT is a great product, but you got Von Wagner jumping in backstage, beating people up.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a face does. Your boy's getting jumped, you hop in and you save him.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and I think it's funny that you bring up that parallel, and you said, even NXT. And while you're right, it is an excellent product, you're also right in saying even NXT, because NXT is developmental. They have established the fact that NXT is now developmental, and they're doing it right.
Yeah.
The thing is, these things should have been switched.
Yeah.
Von Wagner maybe should have messed up and only thrown like a one punch.
Like, hey, stop.
Yeah, I would have been like, not good, but I get it. He's learning. You're on the main roster. You've been in NXT UK for a number of years.
You've been good.
This isn't your first time.
Yeah.
And Shayna, you were on NXT for years. You were a dominant champion. You've been on the main roster for years. This isn't something you shouldn't know.
Yeah.
This is something you should know. And again, maybe it's not them.
Maybe they were out of time.
Maybe this is what they were told to do. I don't know. So maybe it's not at them personally, but it's...
But then it's the people backstage.
Yeah.
It's insulting to watch some things. Like, we talk about it week in and week out. There's some little things that stand out. When you watch every episode of every week, there's certain things you start to pick up on. And one of them is, if I'm breaking up a fight, I should break up the fight. Or if I'm getting in a fight, I should get in a fight.
And I think it's funny, too. I think we have our guys, obviously, like everyone does.
Everyone has their bias, yeah.
But I feel like we're pretty fair a lot of the times. Especially, like, I know the big one recently was Big E beating Bobby.
Yeah.
And while we hated it, I don't think once did we say, take the belt off Big E and give it back to Bob, unless there was a rationale.
Yeah.
So it's not really like, hey, we don't want this to happen. What would I prefer? Something else? Of course. I would rather Bob hold the belt for the next 8 years.
Yeah, right now.
But it's not, we're not like, hey, just do that, just give it back to Bob. It's, you know what, Big E is champ, and Big E could have been champ the same way. But this is how it might have been better for everyone.
Yeah.
So I think that is really the more important part to take out of this. Not that, Doudrop sucks or Shayna sucks. That's not what we're saying.
Because neither suck.
Both are good.
Yeah.
Shayna was on a tear until somebody backstage didn't like that she bit Becky's neck.
Yeah. Which they made
She
her
was
do.
destined to be champion.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's
so like we're just saying better ways to do things.
And to just talk about...
That would not only... Sorry, but
no, go ahead.
Just to finish the thought, not only benefit us, would benefit the superstars themselves in the long run as well.
With the storytelling, absolutely, 100%. Because, like, just to, wrap it all up, come full circle, like we said, we're not invested in their feud next week.
No.
Their face-off next week means nothing to either of us.
If Shayna beat up Doudrop a little bit more, I wouldn't have turned it off, probably.
It would make sense that Doudrop wants to get revenge next week.
I wouldn't probably check the score during that.
Yeah, that's it. But just to touch on Bobby and Big E, like you said, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this just because their feud is come and gone. That is over. But now I'm starting to think that they made Big E champion, not for Big E, but to make sure Goldberg isn't champion. Because at Crown Jewel, I think we all know what's going to happen.
Oh, he's winning, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I think that they had the foresight to know how upset fans would be if Bobby Lashley dropped the belt to Goldberg.
No, I disagree. Because the story was there, and they'd kind of already established it, that Goldberg didn't care about the belt anymore.
Yeah, I know they said that. Like, it's not about the gold.
But, I mean, you could real easily just say that and not make it a title match. You
could
do it.
But then you're
But that's
champion,
even worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, but then your champion loses
I think
to
it
Goldberg.
was not that was the reason Big E won. I think they saw a lot of the stars aligning and said, hey, let's make these two things happen at the same time.
Yeah, because obviously Big E was also hot. And they knew
it wasn't like, hey, let's just throw
coming.
him in here.
So a bunch of other things. But I think I want to give them credit to have the foresight to, like...
You would hope.
You can't have your champion get pinned by Goldberg. Again.
I also think... No, it doesn't even work anymore, so never mind. I was going to say, I also think you don't want Bobby get pinned by Roman, but Bobby's getting pinned by Big E all month, so it doesn't matter anymore.
And, again, I hate to keep... we did say we have our guys, but a loss to Roman right now isn't a loss. Not a bad loss. You're getting pinned, but it's Roman freaking Reigns.
Yeah, and again, like you could have it done in ways like Drew lost last year.
Yeah.
To Roman. So, I mean, I don't know. I like that thought. I would like to think that someone back there is like, maybe this is a good idea for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just like, you see the way things are getting thrown together now, and it's like hard to even think that they're planning ahead.
Yeah. Also, Big E's just going to beat Drew.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what?
This is
kind of the issue with the draft.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger issue is, it's funny, the issue is Roman Reigns, because he's too good that the draft had to be on a Friday. It had to start on Friday.
Because 1-1 had to be
Roman.
Yeah,
so Monday they had to do something.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Drew just didn't have to come out.
You could have just ended the show with Bob. I mean, with Big E. Standing
just have it.
Yeah.
Because then you could start booking for Crown Jewel. And you could just have the draft set right after that Monday.
Yeah.
So the draft would be in effect this Friday.
Oh, boy. Oh,
and that would make things so much easier.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, what?
There's no way both champions lose at Crown Jewel.
No.
We're sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just hear me out, because...
No, because... What are you saying?
Brock's a free agent.
Yeah.
And Drew's going to SmackDown.
I don't think they're taking the belt off Raw full time.
Circling back, you said, I think sooner than later we get Brock and Bobby.
Do you think they go... Well, no, here's the problem, though. We wouldn't get that till December. The earliest.
I think you could pay Brock enough to do bi-weekly appearances on Raw for 2 months.
Does... Couple problems I have with this. One, Drew loses the Survivor Series.
I don't know.
See, that's the issue there.
I don't know.
Second issue.
I guess because the story's there, Brock redeems his loss against Drew.
Great. That's what I'm thinking too. Love that. Second problem. You're going to waste 20 years in the making at TLC? That's the real problem.
Yeah, all right. It was just a thought that occurred to me, but you're right. If they're booking for the long term, they both win. Like Roman and Big E.
You know what I think a little further down the line, I'd love to see Bob win the Rumble. Would love to see that. I mean, I would hate to see that from so much of I say we need to build talent.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that.
The only way I would accept Bob winning is if like the number 2 guy is like Austin Theory, like he beat Austin Theory.
Yeah,
like you still get a new guy.
That's
over.
the thing too. Like the Rumble, you can be the second to last guy, and that's a great spot.
Yeah, like as long as you're the guy standing tall with Rob Lash. But I don't think Bobby wins. I think more like Riddle or something wins.
Yeah,
that's future booking.
Something like that. But yeah, that's a little down the line, like we said.
But yeah, it's, one thing of note that I saw this week going around wrestling Twitter, Bianca main evented both shows this week. Well, this weekend turnaround. She main evented SmackDown and main evented Raw. Good for Bianca.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, that's big.
That's true.
That's huge.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
You know who's doing stuff like that? Roman.
Yes, he is.
You know who's doing stuff like that? Charlotte.
Yes.
They have Bianca in an elite category of talent.
It's going to be a shame when she loses.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's going to be such
we'll
a
never
shame.
see her again.
And Bianca is every bit deserving of this spotlight.
100%.
She's very talented.
I'm getting a little bit tired of the character, personally. I would like to see a little bit more serious side of Bianca, and maybe that's a little early for it, but that's just me personally.
She's kind of like a solo act, Street Profit,
I know
solo
what
act
you're saying,
BE,
yeah.
and it's kind of hard to maintain that entertainment level on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl, like that's not your catchphrase. We're
My
moving on.
thing is that like, and this is kind of has to do with storytelling, and this is the problem of being a face. Because we always say being a face sucks. Being a face is the worst thing in wrestling. It blows.
Far more challenging to be
way harder.
A good face.
Much harder to be good. Much harder to maintain being a good face.
When the
climb is very easy.
Yeah, so maintaining being a top level solo good face is hard because like the Street Profits have no problem being a face. Yeah. Like they're funny, they're a tag team, they're dynamic.
A lot easier when you can just bounce off of somebody.
But when you have to go out there week in and week out, this is the Drew McIntyre problem.
Yeah, this is literally Drew's problem.
When Drew is out there week in and week out cutting the same promo, just insert new heel, insert Randy Orton, insert Bobby Lashley, it gets old.
And that's, I think, my problem with Bianca is how many times do I just have to hear I'm the fastest, the strongest, the greatest, the best, whatever.
And it's a good gimmick.
It is a good. It's a phenomenal gimmick. Yeah, Esther. It's a phenomenal gimmick. But like I think that's what's so good about the greats. And while I don't like him, Cena is the prime example of this. Cena had the exact same gimmick for literally every feud, but he was so adaptable. Just a small tweak for each individual feud. A little bit different for The Rock.
Yep.
Same gimmick, a little bit different for CM Punk. A little bit different for Roman. That kind of stuff was what makes people great compared to just being a good face.
Yes. It is tough though, and it's not to slander Bianca because Bianca, like I just said, is every bit deserving of this spotlight. 100%. But they've got to do something. Maybe Bianca loses again here, and she's just like, you know what? That's it. I'm going like full blown like muscle belly. I'm killing everybody. Like I'm dominating.
This is what I think should have happened the first Friday after SummerSlam. Is I think you have Becky just embarrassed you at probably the second biggest match of your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Embarrassed you. I don't want to see you come out skipping and dancing and happy. I want you to see you come out livid.
Yeah.
Furious that she's in the ring gloating 26 seconds. But no, you come out happy-go-lucky. Oh, I'll beat you next time. I'll fight tonight. No. Demand a match. We are fighting tonight.
And if you're going to stick with this gimmick, like the EST, you can easily tie that into an aggressive face. Like, I'll show you why I'm the EST.
That's the thing.
I'll show you why I'm the strongest. I'm the baddest.
That's the thing that WWE... I mean, Drew does it a little bit. Yeah. He's pretty good at it. But WWE tends to fall back on aggressive faces. Like, being a face doesn't mean that you have to be jokey and fun. And you can be, like, a face and still be aggressive and serious.
You can be about winning.
Yeah, you can still be like, I want to win. I'm just not an asshole.
Cena. It's literally Cena. Like, we like him, and he does the joking promo. He does the cartoony stuff, his shirt giveaways, the big colors. He's over with the fans. He's nice. And then when it comes down to it, when he's 2 weeks out of the pay-per-view, he's cutting the promo like, nobody's taking this from me. Yeah. I'm John freaking Cena. Like,
I think a good example right now, just because he's not really a face, but he's face-ish, is Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa said, yeah, love the locker room. A lot of great young guys back there. Not a single one of them is coming anywhere near my belt. Yeah. I'll kill them if they do.
Yeah.
But love you guys, That, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and now that you brought it up, actually, NXT 2.0 is on fire.
It's so good.
They are delivering every single week.
So good.
And I fired off a tweet yesterday, maybe a little reactionary, maybe a little, in the moment. But after Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker faced off in the ring, and they cut that promo, I said I'm more invested in the outcome of this match, of these last 2 weeks of interaction, than I am in Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit much.
I know it's a bit reactionary, but are you really invested in the rivalry of Roman and Brock, or are you invested in what is Paul doing behind the scenes?
No, that is a good point. That's a very, very good point.
Because realistically,
I'm more invested in the dynamic
yeah.
between Roman and Paul.
Yeah, what is Paul doing, and where does Paul end up? Because, Brock says, thanks to Paul Heyman, I'm the most dynamic free agent in WWE. That means Brock Lesnar goes wherever he wants. All right, cool. Why does Paul Heyman do that?
Yeah.
What does Paul Heyman do?
But wait a second. Why is Paul Heyman doing that for him? Yeah.
And then, backstage with the Usos. Yeah, the Usos drafted to SmackDown, which was a throwaway line. Had nothing to do with the story.
It honestly, that made... I'm sorry,
I just want to wrap up the thought.
Yep.
And then the guy backstage comes up, way prettier than Kayla, by the way, says, what are you doing about Brock Lesnar? And then the Usos grill him. So, the real story is, what is Paul Heyman doing in cahoots with Brock, or is Brock just the master mind manipulator after spending so much time with Paul?
Yeah.
So that's what the real, curiosity is. Sure, I know Roman and Brock will tear the house down. They always do. But that's where I'm interested in. But now go ahead. Back to the Usos.
That made me so mad.
So mad.
Because they built this, and I guess the payoff was the questioning of Paul.
Which tells you what the main story is.
Yeah.
It's about
Paul. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it could have been done in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you had to throw the Uso bone that early. Mm-hmm. I think you could have sat on that a little.
That could have been the main event of the evening. The last pick before
the last pick before the main event could have... And the whole night could have been small, just segments of, Paul slowly starting to get more and more worried.
What are you not doing? What are you not picking the Usos?
Him, trying to reach Adam Pearce. Have other segments of, the Usos pressing Pearce and Sonya. Have them go around, super kicking people just, to make a point. Yeah. There are ways you could have done this where it wasn't even that hard. You don't even have to take too much time. Maybe 5 to 7 minutes combined.
Yeah, of total time. Yeah.
Of total time, maybe 10. I would say 10 at the cap.
Instead they did a TV time.
And then they drafted him as soon as the show started. And that was it.
And, the level of importance that they put on this was massive. Because they ended SmackDown with, you go to Monday Night Raw, you make sure you get drafted to SmackDown, and if you don't, you leave Paul Heyman for dead.
Yeah.
That is an incredible cliffhanger for them to come out and just one line. And with the second pick of the first round of the WWE Draft.
It wasn't on SmackDown. It wasn't the beginning of SmackDown. It was the last thing you saw before Monday Night Raw. It was the last WWE product you got until Monday Night Raw.
They sent you into the weekend with Roman Reigns telling the Usos to murder Paul Heyman. And then what do they do with that?
Yeah.
What do they do with the best cliffhanger in recent memory?
They're on SmackDown.
Yeah, by the way, with the second pick of the first round of the WWE Draft, SmackDown selects the Usos.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was just a mistake.
It is a mistake. It's a huge mistake. And it's one of those things that we talk about where they're dropping the ball on storytelling. Yeah. Because the one question, and I'm not to say that what they did is so bad, right? Because that question brings it back. What are you doing about Brock Lesnar? Okay, I understand the feud is now, developing, and they're still keeping you in the loop. Paul Heyman's in cahoots with Lesnar. Maybe that's why the Usos didn't get drafted right away. Whatever. But you have that kind of cliffhanger. You could have had that question asked right after the Usos got drafted at the end of the show. You could have had, what you said, and not, you don't even have to necessarily even do that much. Have them press Sonya and Adam Pearce once. Have them press Paul once. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's really all it was.
And instead, we get it in the first what was it, 15 minutes of the show?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a shame that threw that away like that.
And you weren't competing against Monday Night Football then because they were on their little rain delay.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Just I feel like that's another missed opportunity for them.
Yeah.
Just something they could have. Just a cool little story for that night.
Yeah.
But,
They have the talent.
yes.
We've said this now. I think like the last 3 or 4 episodes. We're not pulling things out of thin air.
No, we're not at all.
We're just taking the stories they've given us on a weekly basis and extrapolating it out and drawing it out to be a better told story. Because we're not even, like, booking into the future. We're not even dating back, like, multiple months. We're taking, like, the recent feud, what you've given us, and we're like, okay, take it in this direction. And in this example, we're taking what you gave us the night prior, well, like, the episode prior, and doing it. So it's just
like that's the thing I think we try to say like this. Like you know what? Are the people in WWE writing more creative than us? Probably.
Yeah.
More than 90%, most likely.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's they're being stunted back there or what it is. But like, we're not, like I said, we're not like pulling out these miracle stories like and then Rock's gonna show up and he's gonna fight this guy and then Jericho's gonna come back and they're gonna cross over and like that's not what we're doing.
No.
It's just.
We're using what
this
they
is what
give
you gave us,
yeah.
and just have the Usos be pissed off.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
Really simple stuff that we're throwing out there. Just hey, this could really elevate this a little bit better. And it's something too that's interesting because we're doing it with everything.
Yes,
it's like this could elevate the whole show with these just tiny little changes, like these little. And I understand you guys are crunched for TV time. I get it, but we're not making 45-minute changes.
No.
We're making 30-second to 2-minute changes.
Cut one of your filler matches. Cut one of your backstage segments. Yeah. Like, let these things play out the way that we deserve to see them play out. I mean, like you said, it's about everything. It's Doudrop and Shayna Baszler. It's Roman Reigns and the Usos. It's Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Like, it's literally everything. Yeah. You have the stuff. You've done it before. You've been the most successful wrestling company on top of the world for decades. You know what you're doing. Yeah. So I don't know. It sometimes is a little frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I know we're running a little long on just like a little, not even real analysis. Any matches stand out to you this week?
Not really. I mean, I'm trying to think because I was so focused on the draft.
Yeah, the draft
I was so locked in on the draft that like matches. I mean, matches are matches, but like I thought the stuff with Seth being in Edge's house was awesome.
Yeah, Seth is great.
Funny. Oh, King of the Ring.
King of the Ring. Oh yeah, King of the Ring is
King of the Ring coming up. King of the Ring in Queen's Crown Tournament starting this Friday.
Let's just say
October 8th.
They got something right here by just not calling it Queen of the Ring.
That was the best thing they've done in a long time.
Like I'm so happy they didn't just do that. That would have been so bad.
So terrible.
King and Queen of the Ring. Yeah. No, it's the Queen's Crown Tournament. I
love
like that. I like it a lot.
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Now, logically, Charlotte has to win, but
no. Actually, let's first of all, we have no idea who's in it.
Yes.
They, as far as I know, have not announced anything.
Is it 8 each or?
No idea.
Okay.
All I know is that it starts Friday and ends or continues Monday. So that can mean a lot of things. Again, no idea who's in for either one. The only person that I'm fairly confident saying is Xavier Woods.
Yep, positive.
Because I'm pretty sure one, this was his idea to bring back. 2, he was doing a lot of campaigning on Monday. But other than that, like I don't have much information for you guys.
Yeah. So you want to do a little fun thought experiment like we did?
Like who we think?
Yeah. Who do you like?
Who do I like to be in it, or who do I like to win it?
Who do you like to be in it, and then who do you like to win it?
I would like to see Woods.
I
would like to see Karrion Kross.
Cross.
I would like Bearcat Lee.
3. Let's say 8. Because I think it's going to be 8.
I would like to see Ricochet. I would like to see Cesaro. Is who I want or who will be?
Who you want.
Who I want, those 5. I would like to see Ridge Holland, although I think it's too early, so take that off. Never mind. Wait, 3 more? It's tough. So I want guys that like don't do a whole lot, but like are also pretty good still.
Yeah.
And while there's some good ones, I want Corbin nowhere near this thing. I want him as far away as he can possibly be from this.
Corbin will be in it.
And it's a shame. I want Sami Zayn in this very badly.
Like that, Sami.
2 more. I'm trying to think who they have. I would like to see.
This has got to be a cross-brand thing too.
100%.
So
Definitely Raw and SmackDown.
yeah.
I would like Apollo in this very much.
There you go. One more.
Last one. I would like Rick Boogs in this.
Whoa! Without Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that'd be funny if Rick Boogs wins the
King of the Ring.
King of the
There
Ring.
goes for King Nakamura.
And yeah, that's fun. That'd be a good time.
I don't mind your list at all. I think there's one glaring omission for me. I
Okay.
think Austin Theory is going to be in it.
Okay, I like that as well.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he'll be in it. Pretty confident.
Jeff Hardy will definitely be in it then. Yep.
Maybe you can easily write off Theory's loss with a Jeff Hardy interference or
That's
whatever.
true.
So I don't know that he needs to be in it.
I think he'd be the opposite as well.
Yeah, so you could do that too. So I think you're right, one of them will be in it. But other than that, your list is pretty good, pretty solid. It's a lot of guys that can wrestle, that can go, that aren't in a title picture right now.
I feel like it'll be a lot of guys that will, if they give them the time,
They'll
give them really good matches.
Yeah, this could be big for a lot of people that are being underutilized.
Or they're gonna blow it and put like
Corbin,
Damian Priest, Corbin,
and put all your mid-card
Shinsuke,
champs in.
yeah, like
don't do that.
Randy, Bradle, don't do that.
Oh yeah,
please
and,
don't do
and
that.
the finals is RK Bro.
Please don't do this.
Do not do that.
Yeah.
And then we got the Queens tournament.
I would like Bliss. I would like Selena Vega.
Mm-hmm.
I would like Liv.
Mm-hmm.
I would like both Shotzi and Tegan, but I'll take one of the two.
Okay.
So
they're split now, so I could see them doing both. Oh
Not yet.
yeah, not before this actually.
So that's 4. I would like. I would not like Natalia, but she will be in it.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
This is interesting.
So my only concern,
It sucks is I really want Xia Li in this.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm has to be in this.
Be in
All right, that's 6.
Shayna.
Carmella should be in this.
Yeah.
I feel like she's earned that. And I would like Naomi in this.
I would too. And you know why this is all for nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna put people like Eva Marie in it.
100%.
They just can't help
It's
themselves.
going to be, if I had to guess, Eva Marie, Doudrop, Shayna Baszler, Natalia, Liv, Carmella, Zelina Vega, and...
Tamina.
No. Who else do they like? I don't know, one more person.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
You know what I've loved in this? And I'm probably not. I don't even know if this is possible. I'd love to see Bayley come back.
Yeah, if Bayley's healthy and ready to go, she should come back and win.
That'd be awesome. No,
no, if she comes back, she should come back and win. Because could you imagine how annoying she would be? You guys are champion, but I'm queen.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That would be a phenomenal bit for a
Send
very
her
long
right
time.
to Charlotte.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, Queen Flair, huh? Ooh, yeah, that would be so good.
Yeah, it would.
So
but I don't know if she's even healthy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think she's ready.
No. What a shame.
Maybe, and I know the draft just happened, so this is unlikely, but maybe a debut or so.
No.
Yeah.
This will definitely not have a debut.
Which is unfortunate.
Very.
Because
they could just lose.
Yeah.
Honestly, just bring them up and have them lose.
Yeah. Let's talk about NXT real quick.
Real quick.
So we finally had LA Knight and Odyssey Jones happen.
I don't love the ending.
I
get it.
Yes.
I don't love it. I thought it was a good match.
Keeps both guys protected.
Yep, it does.
Because Odyssey only loses because he's distracted, and LA Knight probably shouldn't lose again.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't lose again. The tag team turmoil, the Fatal 4-Way,
was very, very good.
Very, very good.
But Grizzly Young Veterans get snuffed again.
Yeah, snubbed yet again.
Yeah, again.
The soon to be NXT Tag Team Champions.
Not very soon.
Never to be NXT Tag Team Champions is more like it.
They should have got drafted.
They should have gotten drafted. Mello and Trick Williams losing first. I don't know what I expected. I guess that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had to lose first.
They're the only non-tag.
Yeah, someone had to lose first. Briggs and
I don't like Big
again?
Country.
Big Country
I'm
beating.
calling them Big Country from now on. By the way,
for them beating GYV,
I didn't like it.
I was disgusted. I'm so fed up with it. These two big guys stink. I'm just gonna say it. They stink. Okay, and to tag in Wesley and tell him to jump over and like hit GYV when they were outside. Like, no, nobody's doing that. You're not tagging in somebody else and telling them what to do.
Yeah.
It stinks. It stinks out loud. They're bad.
Yeah. I don't like
and
them.
the fact that I know you got to debut new talent. You got to push new talent. It's developmental. That's what they're doing. No, not there. That's not the time. Not the time or place.
No.
Not when you have GYV right there.
But on a positive note,
the finish.
Imperium is back.
As they should be.
And better than ever. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, they've been running strong. But very happy to see Imperium back.
That'll be a really good match.
It's not even like they were gone for that long, but
it felt like a while.
They're just good.
Yeah,
they're just really
good.
They're probably the best tag team going.
Yeah. And I feel like this isn't an issue with NXT. It's an issue with WWE. Like, you want to get these guys on TV and this talent, and that's great. And I love that, the new talent on TV. But you're holding back a lot of guys that you could be utilizing in other areas. Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
People like that. GYB. Because there's going to come a time where you're going to run out of space for these guys.
And the thing is, if you're NXT and you're now developmental, I know these guys need to wrestle other people and they need to beat veterans.
Need to wrestle good people.
Yeah, and I know they need to do that. But you don't need to keep every tag team down there. If you're going to immediately move on to Imperium being involved in the title picture, draft GYV. Like, you have guys that are extremely talented. Guys that are ready to be on the main roster. Guys that could be on pay-per-views now.
Yeah.
Like, GYV is a perfect example. They're a phenomenal tag team. They're right there with Imperium.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you could take either one of those teams, and whichever one you're running with, which seems to be Imperium, which fine, love that, bring GYV up.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Like, let these guys go on the main roster. You got 3 hours on Raw and not enough tag teams. Like, we ran through the list earlier of people drafted. No tag teams. There's nothing. There's like 5
total. Off the top of my head, I can think of 6.
You got the Dirty Dogs, the Street Profits,
7,
the Viking Raiders, the handsomest tag team.
8. AJ and
Omos, RK Bro, the Usos, the New Day.
There's another one I had, but I lost it.
Mansoor and Ali.
Yeah, that was the other one.
But you can bring up these other guys. And, like, if you have these women down there on the roster, like Ember Moon, who just came back to keep losing, bring her back up. Like, just let her wrestle, because you know what you have up on the main roster? One women's tag team.
Yeah.
So...
And it sucks, too, because, like, people like Dakota will probably never sniff TV for a long time.
Yeah.
And Dakota's very good.
Dakota went from being in the main event, the title picture for the women's roster on NXT, which, good story, decent match, whatever. She never was going to win, so that's not the problem, to not even being mentioned on TV.
Yep.
And she won't be mentioned on TV because the women's tag team titles are tied up. The women's main title is very tied up. So, what's next for her?
No idea.
Wait 3 months for this feud to die down?
Yeah,
because NXT drags these feuds a long time.
They do. I think a lot of the stuff will be over by Halloween Havoc, but NXT has a very limited number of pay-per-views, you gotta remember.
Yeah, there's a chance. And I know that they do these like Halloween Havoc, Great American Bash, ones that aren't necessarily pay-per-views but are
on. Yeah.
They might pull the belt off some of these people and add to the main roster. Like, I know the draft happened, but like maybe Raquel's time here is done.
I would hope that they're wise enough to not. They've done it in the past because they did it with Cross and they've done it with Kevin Owens and people of those similarities. To not just like draft them with the belt because then you know they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they wisened up and been like, you know what, we have the draft. But they don't have to come up now.
You don't have to be drafted. The free agent signings of last year were fine.
Or just push them to January.
Or
bring them in the Rumble.
Exactly.
Not everyone needs to be in the Rumble. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know it's cool, and it's probably like a career goal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like...
Do I necessarily need Sami Zayn in the Rumble again? And that's just an example.
But like, do I need Natalya in the Rumble?
No.
Do I need Tamina in the Rumble? They've been in like 8 each.
No.
Like, let's get some people in here. And you know what? Yeah, she'll give you that quick little pop, like, oh, Natalya, cool. And then she'll give you like a decent...
And everyone knows she's not winning.
Some good spots, and that's it.
But that same small pop you get for Natalya, you debut someone new.
Massive
pop. You debut Raquel, huge.
And we're not saying debut like some random person.
No.
Like, these are proven superstars.
Yeah.
There's not people that are going to let you down.
Exactly.
So, that being said, I got nothing else this week.
We ran a little long anyway, as it is. No, it was a good week of wrestling, but I mean, judging by some of the stuff you said, like we said, you might not notice.
I feel like there were positive negatives, though.
Yeah.
They were wanting it to be better.
Right, like the stuff we're critiquing, it's not necessarily bad, it just could be better.
Yeah, and I think that's important, too, that we're not just, like crapping all over it, but we are critiquing it.
Yeah.
And trying to help it be better.
Yeah, we're giving constructive
criticism.
And trust us, when it's really good, we'll tell you it's really good.
Yeah.
Like,
even if we don't like the people, like if something's good, it's good.
It's good. That's it. But that's that. I mean, thanks again for tuning in.
Appreciate it. Again, check out socials down below. Subscribe, comment, like. You know the deal.
Keep the trend going. Let's make this the most watched video.
200.
Ooh,
that's a lot.
150. 150. Get us to 150.
150.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.